Happening now, law enforcement across Chautauqua County mourning the loss of one of their own, a longtime sheriff's captain who died in a boating incident on Chautauqua Lake.
Our bodies, our toys.
And abortion activists call on the Supreme Court to reconsider their decision overturning Roe v. Wade in Jamestown, plus slow riding in a slow roll.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. The man who drowned after falling into Chautauqua Lake over this past weekend has been identified as a longtime sheriff's office captain. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office says Captain David Bentley fell into the lake's waters around 1:30 in the afternoon Saturday while boating near Martha's Vineyard in the town of Ellery. An investigation found that Bentley was attempting to board a boat and for an unknown reason fell into the lake and was not able to get onto that boat or to shore. Bentley's family members and a neighbor later located him and started CPR before fire departments and EMS crews arrived. He was later pronounced deceased at UPMC Chautauqua Hospital. Bentley served nearly 4 decades with the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office, joining the ranks in 1985. Captain Bentley oversaw the Patrol and Special Team Division at the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Jim Quattrone spoke with us today to remember the dedicated lawman.
We often hear people say he was a cop's cop, which is true. He was committed to this profession. He was committed to his community, committed to his family. But I think perhaps a side that some people never saw was he had a very compassionate side, was very willing to step up and help those who were in need.
Bentley was part of a long line of law enforcement here in Chautauqua County, with his late father serving as sheriff, brother as the chief of police in Lakewood, another brother as an officer in Colorado, and son an assistant district attorney in the Chautauqua County DA's office. The sheriff says funeral arrangements are expected to be released either later today or tomorrow. And New York State Senator George Borrello and fellow plaintiffs have won their lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of a state Department of Health regulation on its grounds that it violated separation of powers. The regulation at issue was established for isolation and quarantine procedures for those suspected of having a communicable disease like COVID-19. The proposed regulation was first adopted as an emergency power on February 22, 22, and has been renewed at every 90-day interval since. The rule allowed the Department of Health to coordinate with local health authorities to mandate isolation and quarantine rules for individuals exposed to various diseases, even in locations beyond their own home. The provisions closely resemble that in another assembly bill, which failed to pass prior to the pandemic and never received legislative support required to move forward. This ruling now tosses that rule completely. And abortion activists called on the Supreme Court to reconsider their decision overturning Roe v. Wade over the weekend, demanding control of their own bodies. Our Alyssa Wright joins us live in studio now with more. Alyssa?
That's right, Justin. Pro-choice activists marched through the streets of Jamestown Sunday afternoon, chanting their messages of safety for those who can become pregnant and expressing the want not just for protection in the state of New York, but nationwide abortion protection and access. Organized by the Jamestown Justice Coalition, pro-choice activists marched through the streets of Jamestown on Sunday, calling for pregnancy protections, not just in New York, but nationwide.
I'm outraged that they would overturn Roe v. Wade, and I'm really worried we're fortunate that we live in New York, but a lot of people don't live in a state like New York, and I don't think people realize how detrimental this can be to people who live in other areas that are already feeling the restrictions and the lack of resources.
Activists at the rally voiced their anger and frustrations at the U.S. Supreme Court, calling for action.
It should be part of the healthcare system. It should not be a big, expensive thing because there are all different kinds of reasons why somebody would need to terminate a pregnancy.
Many who spoke out told WNY News Now that the ruling was not about saving lives of unborn babies, but it was about controlling other people's bodies.
Women should have the rights to their bodies, and I don't think men or the government should decide that.
Other pro-choice activists feel like the nation has gone back in time.
This is a little bit emotional for me because most of my adult life, I knew that I had the choice to say something about my body now. It's my body, my choice.
As protesters moved from Dow Park to Jamestown City Hall, they marched, carried signs, and chanted in unison. Once they reached City Hall, participants gathered around to listen to various speakers and poets talk about freedom, solidarity, and support. In the newsroom, Alyssa Wright, WNY News Now.
And New York's Department of Motor Vehicles is warning New Yorkers about a new phishing scam being used to steal people's personal information. The scam involves sending a text message falsely claiming the state is offering a $1,500 rebate as a result of high gas prices. If someone clicks on that link, they're brought to a web page that looks like the DMV's site, where they're asked to submit their personal info. The DMV warns New Yorkers to protect themselves from phishing scams by never sending that information via email. They also urge everyone to be aware of the communications they post and receive, and if any texts linking URLs don't match up. Certainly, definitely important info to know, as a lot of people are trying to get some relief at the pumps. And we're looking some relief too weather-wise. I'm not talking about heat, because it's actually been pretty nice the last couple of days, Dakota, but definitely in the rain department.
Yes, I mean, we definitely need rain around here, even if you don't think so. We are over 3 inches below normal for rainfall for the season, but hold on. We've got some of it on the way, but Lakeside Park right now is showing you a beautiful day out there. Just a few clouds over Chautauqua Lake. That's it. It is going to be a fantastic day. Now, all this junk you see over Lake Erie is not actually rain. We're thinking this is either bugs or maybe the radar beam kind of bouncing off some very tall buildings down and around Buffalo. So we're trying to figure out exactly what that is, but it's not precipitation. But pollen still running high. Grasses, mold, the main culprit. So I'm right in that same boat with you. My allergies have been terrible, so I'm suffering right along with you. 78 was the high yesterday. We started the day at 55, 99, and 39 are the records. So through the afternoon, partly to mostly sunny, a warmer day, slightly muggy, but still not bad. 79 to 87 with a southwest breeze. Now, we do get some rain tonight and tomorrow. How much? We'll talk about it with that Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-day later in the show, Justin.
Yes, we will, Dakota. See you in a bit as we continue hearing from boaters on Lake Erie who now are doubling down on safety measures after a fishing boat captain fell into the lake's water last week and still hasn't resurfaced. And later, what a new report has to say about former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's use of state resources. Stay with us. WNY News Now. We'll be right back.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
What is going on, my New York friends? My understanding is that you're in school for a little bit longer than most people, but I got some good news for you. Where are you going to be on September 10th? In Jamestown, New York, with me at 7 o'clock at the Reglena Theater, and you can get your tickets at reglena.com, REGLENNA.com. Make sure that you grab those now. It's going to be so much fun. Jamestown, New York, September 10th. Come and have fun with me.
When severe weather breaks, one team has you covered, tracking the storms as they happen. Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Stay fire safe this summer. Only use grills outdoors, away from siding and deck railings. Clean grills often and remove grease or fat buildup. Make sure your gas grill lid is open before lighting. Have a 3-foot safe zone around grills and campfires. Keep kids and pets clear of the area. Dispose of coals after they cool in a metal can. Never leave grills, fire pits, and patio torches unattended. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov.
Brought to you by the Chautauqua Safety Village and the Jamestown Fire Department.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
The Senate is back in session after the July 4th holiday, but not with its majority leader. Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer will be working remotely this week after testing positive for COVID-19. A spokesman says Schumer, who is vaccinated and double boosted, has mild symptoms. Among the other high-profile D.C. officials who's recently tested positive for COVID include House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Vice President Kamala Harris. Infections from the virus have increased across the nation. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says 2 Omicron subvariants are responsible for more than the 70% of new cases. And last week, all eyes were on Lake Erie off the shore in northwestern Chautauqua County for a missing fishing boat captain who fell into the lake's water and never resurfaced. As of now, his remains have not yet been discovered. WNY News Now's Kristen Allen is hearing from a charter boat company about that incident and what they do to keep things from happening like this.
U.S. Coast Guard captain and owner of Nemesis Sport Fishing, Joe Nemeth, is still perplexed by how a boat captain in Ripley, New York, went overboard while on the waters of Lake Erie.
It seemed to be a freak accident. I know the way we operate our boats, there's pretty much a 0 chance of you falling in.
Nemesis Sport Fishing picks up fishermen around Lake Erie and takes them on the water to catch fish. It's been a busy season so far.
Our typical spread is 14 poles, so we're going to run 14 poles simultaneously. We troll, so we're pulling all these. The boat runs about 2 to 3 miles per hour, and we're pulling 14 lures behind the boat.
Safety precautions, of course, play a huge role for any fishing company on Lake Erie, starting with what to do should someone end up in the water.
We have a throw ring buoy if someone falls in. We tell everybody on the crew that if you see somebody fall in, you're always keeping eye contact with that individual. Don't turn around.
Nemeth does see how quickly conditions can change on the water.
I think there's going to be 5-foot waves maybe tomorrow, so we're going to have to make that game time decision.
But still says charter fishing is a safe way to enjoy the outdoors.
I wouldn't liken this to, the deadliest catch. It's definitely, there's no life-threatening events that I've witnessed in, the past several years. It's a very safe platform.
Kristen Allen, WNY News Now.
Thank you. And of course, we'll continue to seek updates on this. Saturday, crews were out on Lake Erie yet again in limited fashion to conduct a search, but still so far, nothing to report. And former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo improperly used state resources for a book he received $5 million for. That's according to a new report out by a law firm investigating. New York's soon-to-be disbanded Ethics Commission, the Joint Commission on Public Ethics, voted last week to make this report public. The report says the Ethics Commission failed to assert itself as a watchdog agency against the governor and should have asked for more info from his office. Cuomo had already written 70,000 words of what was expected to be an 80,000-word book before he submitted a request seeking approval by the Joint Public Ethics Commission for that book in 2020. Now, in December, the commission ordered Cuomo to turn over money from his book, American Crisis: Leadership Lessons from the COVID-19 Pandemic. Cuomo has filed a lawsuit accusing the commission of violating his rights and showing bias against him. And the Pennsylvania State Senate has advanced a 5-part constitutional amendment that includes provisions targeting abortion. The amendments say there is no right to taxpayer-funded abortions or any abortions for that matter under the Constitution. Constitutional amendments are the only way around the governor's veto powers in PA. The amendment has to pass in the legislature in 2 consecutive sessions, so the earliest it could be on a ballot for voters would be next spring. Democrats call this effort absurd and say it circumvents the legislative process.
Government serves to empower people, and that means everyone having access to whatever care they need.
All they're doing is undermining the will of the people, and they know that. They know that the policies that they're trying to pass are unpopular.
Republicans say the amendment does not ban abortion. They say it gives the legislature and the governor the ability to determine abortion laws instead of the state Supreme Court. Both chambers will have to pass it again in January for it to be on the ballot in the spring. And coming up, the latest Ford recall that owners of those vehicles need to know. And later, we check in with a branch of the Freedom Convoy now in our nation's capital as protests continue there. But first, back here at home, a full look at our weather forecast. Stay right there.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Fast, accurate, and every day. First Defense Weather.
Well, welcome back, everybody, and wanted to show you the low temperatures from this morning because, it wasn't as chilly as it has been in past nights, but you go down to Tidiute, 49, Clymer, 48. So, yeah, some of you did dip into the upper 40s, but the good news is, or maybe not the good news, is we're not going to see that again for at least a little while longer. Today would be a nice day to get out on Lake Erie. The water temperature is a bit of a discrepancy here. 72 off the Buffalo Harbor, but 61 off Erie, Pennsylvania. This is due to upwelling, where cooler water from below the surface is brought up to the surface of the water, which is where the water temperature is taken. So that's why there's a big discrepancy in the water temperature. So it's much cooler off Erie simply because of that. Southwest winds 10 to 20 knots with waves about 1 to 3 feet. So a good day to get out on the lake. Tarp Skunks have a game tonight back home tonight. It is $2 admission, beer, and hot dogs night as well. So eat them up as you can out there. 82 degrees at the first pitch, 79 at the 7th inning stretch, and 77 at the 9th inning, and they take on the Niagara Power tonight at 6:30. So hopefully the Tarp Skunks will come away with a win. Lots of blue sky downtown right now. We're at 77, and as of noon hour, it's breezy with a southwest wind of 16 and a wind gust of 21. The humidity moderate. We're in the 50s, but we do actually have a heat index of 78 as a noon hour. So again, there is a little bit of humidity in the air, but it's not that terrible. Now, we've been mentioning we really need rainfall around here, and it does look like we are going to see rain coming in Tuesday and Wednesday here. So this is well-needed rain, especially overnight and then through the day on Tuesday. Then it turns drier again for the later part of the week. Storm Prediction Center has a low-end marginal risk, a level 1 out of 5, mainly across the westernmost counties for the westernmost area of Chautauqua County, then much of Erie County, Pennsylvania. This is for tonight. As the cold front starts to approach, we are going to see showers and thunderstorms flaring overnight. That's our front right back here, and it's going to take a while before it actually gets here, but we are going to see some showers and thunderstorms flaring overnight. So basically nothing through the day. We should see actually mostly sunny skies. Now the rain will hold off until after game time tonight, so that'll be the good news. After midnight, we're going to start to see some showers. Then we'll see a few thunderstorms storms by early tomorrow morning. Then we'll see a few more scattered showers and storms through the afternoon hours tomorrow. Now, again, we had mentioned there was a low and marginal risk for tomorrow. The SPC has taken us out of that risk for tomorrow. But again, there could be a few moderate downpours as well. But hey, we need that. Next 7 days, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. So 81 tomorrow, behind the cold front, 74, a few morning showers on Wednesday. Sun and clouds Thursday, lots of sunshine on Friday, back to the lower 80s. The weekend, the first half of the weekend looking dry, the second half looking a few wet with a few rain showers. Justin?
Yeah, we certainly do need that, Dakota, seeing those brown lawns popping up across the area. Thank you very much. Well, Ford, they're expanding their recall of SUVs and telling owners to park them outside because of a fire risk. More than 100,000 hybrid vehicles are impacted by the latest recall, according to the motor company. The new warning involves Ford Escapes, Mavericks, and Lincoln Co-Stars from model years 2020 to 22. In a separate statement, Ford added that it's expanding a recall of 2021 Expeditions and Lincoln Navigators over a similar fire concern. The automaker says it's had reports of about 21 fires and 1 injury, but no reports of fires extending to buildings. The owners will be notified starting Monday, August 8th. And during a bike ride near his home in Delaware yesterday, President Joe Biden talked about the importance of protesting the Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. Take a listen.
Yes, keep protesting, because keep making your point. It's critically important. We can do a lot of things to accommodate the rights of women in the meantime, but fundamentally, the only thing that's going to change this is if we have a national law that reinstates Roe v. Wade.
Biden's comment comes as his administration continues to face pushback from abortion activists and progressives for not acting quickly or boldly enough in offering legal solutions to protect access. As for what's being done now, well, that's a work in progress. He says the White House is looking to address specific issues like women not being able to cross state lines to access the procedure and protecting private information like the data stored in period tracking apps. Biden says he'll also ask his medical staff to look at the possibility of declaring a public health emergency and whether he has the authority and what kind of impact that might have. A group stemming from the People's Convoy who drove trucks and cars cross-country while protesting vaccine and mask mandates is taking their protest from the roadways to our nation's capital. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp reports.
On the National Mall, you'll find American flags and paint that reads, "We want our rights back," and "Stand up and say no mandates" decorated on cars and trucks parked nearby. They're part of a group called the 1776 Restoration Movement.
People's Convoy started off as ending the national state of emergency, no mandates. So 1776 Restoration Movement was birthed from the ashes of that because they declared victory, quote unquote, but a lot of members did not feel that victory really was accomplished.
The group, which includes people all over the country from Rhode Island to Colorado, has been here all week, shuffling their cars on the mall to avoid tickets and protesting government overreach.
We are here to bring back our constitutional republic and bring back morality to our country. It's been missing for a while, and especially we've a lot of seen it through the last few years.
Why is he arrested? Are you guys? Wow, look at this guy. You guys are breaking your... Wow, look at this.
But 2 days ago, their leader, David Rydell, who goes by the nickname Santa, was arrested on a Maryland State police warrant. Police say he used a semi-truck to block traffic in Maryland for about half an hour on July 4th. But the group says otherwise.
It's a political persecution.
Rydell has since been released, and the group says they'll continue their protests.
You're going to see blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks of American flags and patriots standing up for freedom, to stop police brutality, to stop the tyranny, to stop the erosion of our freedoms, to let our government know that we won't take it.
In Washington, D.C., Rachel Knapp reporting.
Rachel, thank you. Next, we take a look at what a Buffalo group has done to encourage bicycling in the region. Kicking off an event right here in Jamestown.
with coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights.
Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
When you need help,
It's our job
to help you.
to save you.
Despite the danger.
This danger is real.
Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
Catch your first defense forecast daily on WNY News Now. It's not just what we say, it's what we do.
Local first. It isn't just our slogan. It's our mindset every single day. So whether you're watching our daily live streams or staying up to date with reports on our website and mobile app, you'll always see the same attention to detail from reporters who passionately care about our community, who have one goal in mind: to always put the facts first.
For me, it's more than just getting the forecast right. What I love the most about my job is that I come into work every day to help break down the weather, letting people know how this is going to impact their day. We take pride that First Defense Weather is the only local weather team in the Southern Tier. We don't just copy and paste our weather from outside sources. Every part of our forecast is handmade right here in-house, something our team really takes pride in.
What matters to you matters to us. Every story, every day. WNY News Now, where coverage comes first. You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Connecting communities by bicycle is what a Buffalo-led bicycling group is trying to do as they return to Jamestown for their third Slow Roll Pedal Party this past weekend. Our Bronson Rasmussen rode alongside him.
Co-founder of Slow Roll, Seamus Gallivan, tells us that the non-for-profit strives to provide inclusive community experiences that connect people, places, and causes through bicycles.
This is our third annual Jamestown Pedal Party, and it's so great to be able to explore greater Western New York and have partners like the City of Jamestown and Pearl City Cycles to really grow the scope of these rides.
Being more than just a bike ride, the Slow Roll brings people of all walks of life together to do more than just travel the roads.
We feel that the bicycle is the best vehicle to experience communities, to open up all five senses, and really, it's in the case of our rides, that along the way you make a new friend. You just have to communicate with the riders around you, so you wind up communicating together in order to stay safe and move as one.
Of the dozens that strolled with the group, many were not Chautauqua County residents, like Buffalo native Robin Shanahan, who visited Jamestown for the first time.
My husband and I ride with the Slow Roll most every Monday night in Buffalo, and so we wanted to come down here and do this ride because I hear it's a nice one.
As they say, you cannot go anywhere in Jamestown without going uphill. A different change of pace for the group, but an obstacle they still wanted to tackle.
Part of how Slow Roll has grown so big in Buffalo is that Buffalo is pretty flat. So it's harder to find a 10-mile flat route in Jamestown, but we trust the locals here to do their best.
Alongside City of Jamestown officials, dozens kicked off the 10-mile bike ride at the National Comedy Center, exploring the Pearl City and visiting some other sites of the area, finishing back at the Comedy Center. Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
All right, Bronson, thank you. Yeah, that looks like a lot of fun there. And what better weather do they have to be able to get out and do that? And that's one of the things is there is a lot of hills, especially in downtown. Mm-hmm. Like it almost seems like you're always going uphill.
Yep.
No matter where you are.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I live on the south side of town, and let me tell you, Foote Avenue, woo!
Yeah,
that's a killer.
You live on a pretty big hill too, and it's almost like you have to walk down.
Like this.
If you I know you walk sometimes here, and you walk down, and then at least the square's flat, but then you got to walk up, and then it's in reverse on the way home. Walk down, square, up. I mean, it's just.
Well, I mean, you see, walking down the hill isn't bad.
Right.
It's walking it. It's walking up it is what kills you.
And on a bicycle too.
At least for me, because I'm out of shape. You know, I haven't missed,
my girlfriend,
many lunches.
my fiance's dad has a electric bike, and that helps give him a little boost.
Okay,
on the
so
hill,
what is the point, since you brought up the subject, what is the point of the electric bicycle?
So just to really give you a boost. So if you're going up a hill, for example, you can get a nice boost so you don't have to pedal yourself to death, which is always pretty nice. But we've talked ourselves to death. And that's going to do it for us today as they tell me to wrap it up. We'll have a wonderful day. We'll see you back here tomorrow live at noon. You need a boost, don't you, Dakota?
More than a boost.